welcome back to Nordic Championship. It's time for Game 2 between Nyyrikki White and the Final Tribe. The last Swedish hope right now are hanging on to a thread, being down 1-0 versus the Finnish team Nyyrikki White. But let's have a look at the standings right now in this bracket as it has progressed tonight. In this first game that we had tonight, or the first series, it was Ventus Esports versus Östersund's FK. And Ventus Esports were the first team to grab that final spot, meaning that they will arrive here in Stockholm next week to duke it out live versus the team that wins between the Final Tribe and Nyyrikki White. Right now, Nyyrikki White looking really strong as well.
Yeah, they had a really impressive game number one where I think the only mistakes that were made by the team was from A-Store getting caught out a couple of times on this Ezreal being a little bit greedy with his positioning and his usage of that arcane shift. But other than that, they pretty much played without any mistakes. And that's not really something that we're seeing a lot from these teams. So I was impressed by Nyyrikki White. The Final Tribe tried to punish them, but were simply not able to.
Absolutely. The Final Tribe putting so many eggs into the Carter's basket and not really being able to do that much with it. Waited a long time for the first Requiem, and also going with the Carters, you want to have the global pressure with the Requiem to make something happen. But when you're really the only one that can do that and the rest of your lanes are kind of falling behind just in CS deficit, and of course with the Kleptomans, the Ezreal down bot lane, you wanted kind of to see Waster on the Kled to try to make something happen in the bot side of the map. Instead, he was just stuck topside, and the first Requiem, I think, took down one play to like a third of their HP, and not that much happened after that.
Yeah, I think you had one Dark Harvest stack at 20 minutes, and that's when you know you're not doing too well on the card. There's two picks, or two bans rather, that I'm looking for right now is the Cillian and the Ivern. These are two very signature champions for Canapil and Denzel, respectively, and there is one of them coming out. Will the Final Tribe allow Canapil to go for the Ivern, which is not a strong meta champion, but it's something that Canapil and Nyyrikki really like to play?
I kind of like to see this from Nyyrikki White. They have played around their mid lane a lot, allowing Jameru to get a farming matchup with the Corki and then just outscaling and being much stronger in the team fights, just as a mechanical player. And for this rotation, they decided they want to ban instantly Cillian and Malzahar, making sure that the Final Tribe cannot allow to get Denzel on any champion that he is comfortable on. Now, the Jace pick for Sten Busse is a strong one, definitely, for this top laner. And on the other side, Denzel actually going for the Corki pick, gonna take that away from Jameru, and also the Thresh pick for Nightmares.
I would love a LeBlanc pick here for Jameru. You often don't want to be picking both of your solo lanes this early on, but just getting a hard pressure matchup early on. It's not like a clear winning matchup for the LeBlanc, but it's definitely a lane where you can put down a lot of pressure. So just allowing Jameru on a winning aggressive pick early would be good to see for them. Also, the SWE is open, but I think you really want to be picking up a supporter, a jungler here. Realistically, it would just be fun to see Amaru on a heavy pressure mid laner.
Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me if he decided to go with it either. On the other side, Final Tribe taking that Thresh away from Tiara and taking Corki away from Jameru. I mean, on paper, sure, it's good to always go with the bans and then take away strong champions that you don't want your opponents to play, but I'm not sure, again, with these two particular players. Knight was going with champions like Nami, going champions like Morgana, now instead with a Thresh, much more aggressive playstyle. Of course, he did play the Galio last game, but didn't go too well. Here's another interesting champion pick with the Olaf for Raxi, meaning this will be a much more aggressive early game for the Final Tribe than we saw in Game 1.
Yeah, I'm really looking for TFT to pick up an aggressive bottom lane here to try to play around it with Kantos and Nightmares being able to put down pressure. So something like a Kai'Sa or maybe even a Draven could come down here if they want to be pressuring out the defensive and kind of weak early game lane of the Ezreal and the Braum. Really expecting to see, I was just going to say, the bans towards Jameru here. LeBlanc and Zoe would be the two bans that I would do versus Jameru here, but then he can also play like the Syndra and some other champions, and he can even flex the Jace to mid lane if you really want to.
Absolutely, and going something like Syndra and being able to burst anyone that he finds could definitely be one of those Jameru highlight videos. Just seeing him run over everyone with his Syndra. We've already seen him 1 versus 2 Denzel and Raxi on that champion previously in this tournament. Now, the Sivir ban versus Kantos makes a lot of sense, as Kantos has liked to be put in the reins of the team and saying, like, okay, guys, you just stay behind me, and I'm going to carry this all on my own as long as I get to that point on a Sivir champion, on that kind of late-game marksman. Will not be allowed for this game. Nyyrikki will be the ban, and the Syndra we just talked about is going to be the ban versus Jamero, leaving the LeBlanc open.
Yeah, LeBlanc is definitely a strong pick here. Something like a Ryze could also come in if that's what you want to go for. Also kind of have this poking team comp so far with both the Jace and the Ezreal coming in. But that's also why they're banning out the Sivir, because you've got so much engage with that ultimate being able to gap close on towards those targets. And that is a top lane cannon, which is not something we've been seeing at all in this tournament so far.
Absolutely, but Wazer, again, I mean, he likes to go with all of these crazy champions, with the Kled, with something like a cannon is not anything surprising really for this player, but the Kled that he played last game didn't really work out for him. Sure that he's good individually on it, but you can actually see him lose 1v1 versus Stian Bussa, and that is not a position you want to be in when you have decided that you want to go for your signature pick.
Yeah, for sure. It's still going to be like one of the few champions that can try to go toe-to-toe with Jace early on, being able to be a ranged versus ranged champion right there, not going to be punished as hard by Stian Bussa. Going to be interesting to see. They can also play around the top lane here. And looking for the mid lane pick for Yameru, I mentioned the LeBlanc. Another pick that has assassination potential would be the Aryan. There it is locked in. Also looking for the last pick for Kantos now. If they really want to go crazy, you pick Kalista here. Kalista is not too strong of a champion, but it's really strong together with a Thresh, and it gives you so much engage now that the Sivir is off the table. That is like the crazy pick if they really want to go hard.
But I would expect Kai'Sa or something like that.
Yeah, Kai'Sa would be good as well.
Counters. That is what I'm expecting to see, as that is a champion that he has previous success on.
Oh, Corki bottom.
But, oh, okay, this is interesting. Actually, I didn't say this because I thought, like, this is so far-fetched, I'm not even going to say it, but I did think that the Final Tribe have been throwing us curveballs earlier. So Corki bot lane wouldn't be something too surprising from this team, and Denzel on Alessandra makes a lot of sense as well, because we talked about him being not the most mechanical player. Instead, you want to have him on a secure pick. He's going to farm, and then he's going to be able to just arrive, use his ultimate, lock someone down, and allow Wazer and Kantos to take the reins there instead. I do like it in a way, but I'm not too sure about the Thresh and Corki versus the Ezreal and Braum bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult, and one of the really glaring weaknesses here for them is the amount of magic damage they have. Corki, like 75-80% magic damage. Lissandra Cannon, pretty much all magic damage, and then you've got two big like tanks and CC bots on top of that. It's going to be very easy for Canapil, but even the other people on the team to build Hex Drinkers on champions like Jace and Ezreal, that's something you can do. So that is a big weakness of the team comp, and I think I'm starting to feel like they almost outsmarted themselves here in the draft.
Maybe. On the other hand, no clear tanks on the side of Nyyrikki White. So they have that going for them. If they manage to snowball the game on top of these picks, it's going to be difficult to itemize to get all of that magic resist early enough for it to have an impact on the game. But that is if they get that kind of early lead. And from what we have seen so far, the team that managed to pick up the early lead and play safely around it has been Nyyrikki White. So it doesn't really match the play style of TFT, but this might be a different kind of strategy they're implementing right now.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what they can do here for TFT, because that's not been a strength of the team so far, being able to make the plays happen early on, and they sure have the tools to do so if they can get the roam from Denzel. He is playing with a TP into the Ignite of Yameru, so he should be able to make him sort of TP play on towards the side lane, maybe get a TP cannon in as well, and they are very strong at level 6. As soon as they unlock the ultimates, they have so much engage, a lot of damage, but if this game goes a little bit later, if like pretty much everyone except for the mid laner support can pick up a Hex Drinker here and deny so much of that magic burst damage that TFT are relying so heavily on, it's going to be really hard for them to deal with. And you also got to talk about this Corki bottom lane. He is... There's a reason he's not played a lot in the bottom side. I thought they were going to set up for a strong laning phase here when I mentioned the Kalista and the Draven potential for Countess or even a Kai'Sa, but instead they're choosing a pick which is not going to be having a lot of pressure early on. The Braum is even going to be able to deny the Corki Qs, which is so much of his damage.
Yeah, absolutely. On the other hand, I'm happy to see Denzel on the Lissandra, as he's been very good with the roams, and he's been good with the map pressure to set up for his team to secure objectives, just on top of him being at the right spot at the right time. But his problem has been playing champions like LeBlanc, playing champions like Victor and such. He's been stuck just farming. This game, I want to see him on the Lissandra, maybe sometimes sacrificing a few last hits just to be able to get the roams off together with Raxi on this Olaf.
Good point there. I totally agree with you. I think Denzel just needs to push this wave and try to help his side lanes. And when we talk about the side lanes, there's not too much you can do in bottom just because Corki, not a lot of early power, will get denied a lot by the Braum. So I think top lane is really the lane where you're trying to focus. Both of these top laners are very strong early when it comes to being able to put a lot of damage with the cannon and the Jace. Stenboss is on a ward right now, though.
Yeah, Stenboss is standing on that ward, and Wazer is going to use that opportunity to get one auto attack off, instantly getting ahead in this lane.
Yeah, huge lead for Wazer.
One auto attack. But no, Wazer, I would be interesting to see playing this cannon versus Stenboss for this game. Stenboss was able to get the solo kill in game 1. And Wazer, we know him to be a very strong challenger player. We know Stenboss is also one of the stronger players in this tournament. But in this matchup, still, I am interested to see it because it's been a long time since I saw the cannon top side.
Yeah, he's going to start with the Doran's Blade right now, but of course going to be going into an AP build after that. Stenboss just saw the Olaf on a ward right now, knows exactly where he is, and he's going to be able to get away probably.
Wazer actually flashing forward to get the stun off, but not going to do that much.
Wow.
For a second there, I thought Stenboss maybe going to try to duel that, try to push Raxi under the turret or something, but he decided to go with the safe route.
And the nerves from Stenboss, there are a lot of players would just flash before the cannon stun landed, but he knew exactly how much damage they were going to be able to do and burns the flash away, so we're keeping it himself. Raxi's going to run into Canapil here, and Yamaru is ahead on the mid lane roam.
Yeah, good flash forward. First blood picked up by Yamaru, and this mid lane now is starting to look bleak for Denzel with Yamaru getting the first blood.
Yeah, and if you open up a dictionary, look for lane prio, that's exactly what's going to show up there. Yamaru being able to get ahead on the roam, had the wave pushed in and could help his jungler before Denzel could even be close to reacting. So very good setup plays from Yamaru and Canapil, and with Wazer burning the flash without getting anything for it, you have to say that Nyyrikki is off to a good lead in a game where the final tribe are the ones that need to get the early advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Final tribe really need to step up now, but where can they find anything? What can they do with this? Down the bot lane with the Corki, you don't have that much damage. As you said earlier, the Phosphorus Bomb can be denied by the Braum Unbreakable Shield, and that is such a huge part of Corki's damage at this point of the game before he can unlock more damage on his auto attacks. And with the Olaf falling behind a little bit, that's also going to start to become worrying when you're up versus Canapil on this Jarvan.
Yeah, this Jarvan is going to be able to make a lot of things happen here, especially into the Olaf, who has no way of getting out of that Cataclysm without the flash, which he, of course, used in that engagement. So Canapil being ahead right here means that he could keep pressuring the Olaf, who was able to recall and get the Predator boots and is now perhaps going to be looking to make something happen, but no lane where he can really do it. This bottom lane is just going to be a farm fest for both of these teams, going to be very safe with mobile AD carries and defensive supports for both sides. There's going to be really hard to make any sort of plays happen right here. I think if you want to make a play, top lane is the lane that you're looking for both teams.
Yeah, absolutely, and also Canapil could have tried to go again with these invades that he was able to get on Raxi, knowing that Raxi went for a early gank, level 2 up top side. Stenboss also versus Wazer. I mean, Stenboss is up around 10 CS or 8 CS at this point, and it's a similar situation that we saw from game 1 where Wazer tried to go for an unorthodox pick and he fell behind versus Stenboss playing one of these top lane power champions like Urgot, like the Jace.
Yeah, he's been so solid on these picks, and still gotta mention once more what happened there in the gank, burning the flash of Wazer and not using his own. That was impressive. This guy is pressing me for sure so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and Wazer not having a flash is a difficult position to be in such a volatile matchup, as he needs to play much more carefully, knowing that Stenboss has the opportunity to go for a stronger all-in.
Absolutely, especially with the Jarvan on the enemy team, knowing that you have no ways of getting out of that ulti without the flash, so Cataclysm could be a potential strong point here, and Yamaru and Canapil are starting to roam towards the top side of the map. They're looking to invade, and once more Yamaru with heavy mid priority, pushing in the wave, roaming into the enemy jungle. He's going to be catching Raxi here. Ooh, just really close to landing the charm. Stenboss though!
Oh, Stenboss in the 1 versus 1, flashing away. just barely surviving. Jamaru is around and using his ultimate to go forward, getting the ignite off and running away with this teleport juice by Denzel. But Denzel needs to flash, and a good charm will hit Denzel, not allowing him to get into range. Now Kenapil is here, Stenbus is teleporting back.
Oh, he's not going to be getting to full HP, but I don't think he needs it to kill Denzel here.
Now 3 versus 1, Denzel juking back and forth. There are only so many ways that you can juke before going down in this situation. That is the second kill for the game, actually third kill of the game. Stenbus picks that one up. 2 kills for Jamaru and 1 for Stenbus, and these 2 solo lanes are starting to snowball out of control yet again.
Yeah, exactly like happened last game. The solo lane's getting a lead for Nyyrikki, and then they're able to play around that. Jamaru also with mid-prio gave the... That's really what's led to all of these 3 kills. It's Jamaru being ahead on the roams. This time Denzel tried to respond, but simply came in too late. Mid-lane difference right now is the name of the game for Nyyrikki.
And also Denzel falling behind when playing teleport versus the ignite is never something that you want to do. So Jamaru having the extra kill pressure and Denzel with the teleport should mean theoretically that Denzel should be the one who is able to roam more often. They both have strong wave clear, but we see in these situations just Jamaru being there with his team, and also a lot of that on top of Kenapil being ahead in the jungle versus Raxi, getting that early, very good early start.
Yeah, speaking more about Jamaru, I think we should also point out his keystone of choice here, which is the Glacial Augment. So he's going to be going for those freezing items on this Ahri. Actually going to be building towards Eludens Echo first here, but then I'd imagine it's going to be the Hextech GLP and as well as the Twin Shadows is the name of the game. So going to be really setting up to make a lot of picks happen on this Ahri.
Absolutely, and he is the one player that can make those picks happen. And down for the bottom lane, Azitor and Tiara are just happy with this lane. They play versus the Corki, and it's not a problem for Abram and Ezreal to handle this lane. And so much focus to get Denzel onto this Lissandra in the mid lane. And in the end...
He's making a roam here, though.
Yeah, he's making a roam.
Just to pick up the Rift Mangoes, though.
Yeah, so not gonna do that much with it. Like, in the end, with the Lissandra focus, getting that matchup in the end, Jamaru still is the one getting the roams off, and Denzel is falling behind.
He is. You can also see Stenbuster versus Wazer off top lane with a pressure, with a slight CS lead as well. So, solo lane's working out well for Nyyrikki so far. With level 6s unlocked here, I think. Oh, Rax gets caught out in the river.
Another catch, Denzel moving forward, using the ultimate. Hook's going to land on Tiara, but no follow-up here. The concussive blows landing on Denzel together with the knock-up, and Jamaru on a killing spree with his 3rd kill this game.
Yeah, just ahead of the play there, and we did not see what happened to Rax getting caught out there. This looked like Kenapil was too far ahead in the 1 versus 1 matchup, being able to make that happen, and then Jamaru roaming more. 3-0-2 right now on this Ahri. He's been called the Finnish Faker, and right now it looks like that is a deserved title.
Absolutely. Jamaru has been part of every single kill this game. He's at 600 shutdown gold. He's definitely the player that we are looking at the most, looking at this Finnish team. And we've heard about Jamaru for a couple of years now, being that strong Finnish player, but this is the first time I have seen him to his full potential, really playing with this Finnish game as well, Finnish team as well. So I'm very impressed.
I just got a few nerd chills, Sang, because what's going to happen if they win this game is that we're going to be seeing Jamaru versus Priest Cornet in the finals. That's going to be a mid-lane matchup to keep our eyes on.
Absolutely, but this game isn't over yet, so let's
Not
hold on talking about the final until we see what happens here. Although, I do agree with you that TFT, they are falling behind, and now the Hex Drinker has been finished by Stenbus up topside.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned. Like all the magic damage coming out from TFT, all of their big damage dealers primarily deals magic damage, and Hex Drinker is going to be such a good item for Stenbus, Kenapil, and Azitor if they want to go for it this game. So really, like the price you have to pay when you're swapping Corki into that bottom lane and then still picking a mid lane magic damage dealer. I also should apologize as we look at Jamaru here, because it is my duty as a color caster to know how you build a Hextech GLP. So I'm really sorry about the lost chapter. I just forgot about that.
Yeah, it's
Am I
terrible.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, you're forgiven. It's okay.
Okay, you should
It's
give me
okay
a...
though.
Oh, thank you.
Raxi not using his ultimate, but running in and then running out again. Focusing now on the Rift Herald. Could try to turn this around, but can't. You see how little damage he deals onto Stianbusa, although Stianbusa is alone up here. Can Appeal arise? He gets stunned in the air, not getting close enough to use his Cataclysm, and simply is going to do a weird little dance before falling. Nyyrikki jumping up forward, top lane, getting one kill and then backing up again before he gets hit by the ultimate from Denzel.
This is a 3v5 for Nyyrikki. Their bottom lane is not here while all of
Look at
TFT is
Stianbusa, look at Stianbusa with the great CC chain, making sure Denzel can't get out. And now as well, Tiara has arrived up here to make sure that nothing else happened, but Nyyrikki definitely being the MVP right now on Nyyrikki. Why the strongest player, definitely from the Finnish region's mid laners, or rather, possibly could he be the strongest Finnish player? Like, overall?
I'm not sure, actually, how strong a player like Taiki, for example, is at the moment. So, he's definitely up there, Yammer, though. He's
definitely up there. Really showing up for this game, has been taking part in every single kill so far, making sure that they have the priority on these objectives. And now you see a little weird dance up top side around the Rift Herald, but right now there are a lot of members up top side from TFT, not really getting anything from it. Nightmares might get caught here.
Ooh, this is going to be close, and Countess is actually coming around, but they're going to be disengaging here, I think. And the big play that happened earlier on with that big team fight, that was really the timing window for TFT. They had the first quirky package. We talked about them needing to make something happen early on, and that was their big chance of doing so. They had all the tools. They were quick around the roam with both Nightmares and Kantos. It was pretty much a 5 versus 3, and they still failed in that fight. I mean, they were quite far behind on the gold, so it's not like they played that fight terribly, but still that was their big chance to do anything. I think it's going to be really difficult for them to now, unless Nyyrikki messes up somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about if Nyyrikki gets falls behind, it's going to be a little bit difficult to buy all of that magic resist, the Hex Drinkers, without losing out on some of your power spikes with that. But now, they're looking strong. They get the early power spikes, they have their core items, they have the extra magic resist on the ones that needs it, and now they're going to secure the Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, interesting to see where they're going to be putting that. I like that play that, no, never mind. They're going to be putting the Rift Herald probably towards the mid lane here eventually, if they're able to somehow catch out Denzel, but right now it's going to be sitting on Tiara. Also possibly to be able to use that in the bottom lane to just get Stianbusa even further behind, further ahead, sorry, in this 1 versus 1 matchup. More than 20 CS up here in this with 1 versus 1. And remember, this is once more Waysor who had the opportunity to counterpick here. He shows this matchup just as he did last game, and he fell behind in the 1 versus 1, just like he did last game. I think this is Stianbusa just living up to his words of him being the better top laner.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. And we're also going to talk about Raxi showing up top lane, trying to make something happen together with Waysor. And Stianbusa just being the intelligent player that he is, knowing that he just needs to back up and allow Kenapil instead to have the stronger jungle matchup in that situation. Kenapil has arrived, but he needs to get out quickly as he is quite low to go in with this, although Stianbusa gets out from that situation, so not that big of a problem. He has teleport, he can recall whenever he wants to.
Yeah, you can see there that how little burst damage Waysor actually does into the Hex Drinker of Stianbusa that passive not even proc. Oh, Tiara!
Tiara flashing forward, not gonna hit anything with the Glacial Fissure, and the Golden Globe goes to Nightmares. He is the one to survive that fight. Tiara going a little bit too greedily into that one, not respecting Kanto's damage.
And what I really dislike about that play is that you don't have to go for it. Just sitting in the 2 versus 2 and farming up is perfectly fine for Nyyrikki. That's just what they want here. Yes, if you were able to outplay, you could have done something in that 2 versus 2, but you don't have to. The rest of your team is winning. Just play it safe. Realize that you don't need to be the carries in the 2v2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Asator and Tiara has so far been doing what they're supposed to, and now Nyyrikki arrives topside to make sure they get the turret, so still not that big of a harm done for Nyyrikki, but I agree with you. Tiara that did absolutely not need to go for a fight at that situation. Now, Mountain Dragon has spawned. Jameru is just moving out from his space. Another good use of the package, chasing down Stay and Booster, but the magic resist going to work, and he's actually quite tanky now, being up in levels and being up in gold.
Yeah, look at that, another null magic mantle on top of the Hex Drinker. Also several Merc Threads, actually 3 of them so far has come in as well. So this magic damage heavy composition really not working out too well for the final tribe. 5k gold behind at 60 minutes in a game where you need to be the one snowballing. That was really close.
That was a very close death sentence. Turret goes down in the end. Azator Arcane shifting forward, as he is known for this time though. Not going to be punished for it, as he's just prodding a little bit. Setting up now for this Mountain Dragon. A good block by TR is going to deny most of the harassing attempts. Raxi still wants to go for this. Nice moving up, but the Twin Shadow will be able to block all of it. Everything with the huge poke from the True Shot Barrage is going to secure this Mountain Dragon.
They have been able to sneak an Ocean though for the final tribe, so this poke won't be too disruptive, and there's going to be the Rift Herald used in the mid lane. Can they defend this? No, one shard is going to be enough to take down that mid lane tower and really open up the map. They're not even going to be having to use the shard shove the Herald there.
No, they're just waiting for the next turret as well. Going to get some damage off on that one. With the Rift Herald now charging up. It's going to get down this turret down to about half HP, a little bit less than that. I think Nyyrikki is very happy with this.
Yeah, he was looking for the flank there on the cannon. He had the flash available, and this is really one of the keys for them to be able to get back into the game. Cannon is sort of a hit-or-miss champion, but now when he's got the Proto Belt, it's going to be hitting level 11. If he's able to get a 5-man ulti with a flash, that is a way that they can actually crawl back and reduce this lead for Nyyrikki White. But look at all the wards on the bottom side of the map. Nyyrikki knew exactly where Wazer was the entire time, so Stian mostly just sat in the bottom lane, pushed the wave even when Wazer was not there, because they saw him on the wards, knew exactly what was going on. Nyyrikki, they're just so good at controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Nyyrikki has been impressing us in Game 1 and in this game as well, just being this collected team. You see from time to time something like Tiara trying a little bit too hard up top lane to get the 2 versus 2 kill, and Azator maybe making like slight mistakes, but apart from that, we really haven't seen them make that many mistakes.
Not at all. You can see the Baron is going to be spawning in about 1 minute and 45 seconds. I'm just desperately looking for the final tribe to get some ways back into the game, and if... Oh, they can catch him, we'll see how maybe.
Yeah, Wazer is baiting this. Stenbuster flashing out. Will not be stunned again, and with the mobility that he has, is able to run away from that 2 versus 1. He's quite far ahead. Level 12 versus Raxi's level 9.
Wow.
Raxi also scaling a lot with level on this Olaf, not in the best position.
Yeah, he's going for the redemption build, which is good if you want to be fighting a lot early on, but that's going to be making him so much weaker when it comes to just the tankiness. So he's going to be running into the enemy team and then just get hit by a few skill shots from Ari, and that's what's going to be meaning the death of him on this Olaf. You can see Azator playing a bit cocky right there with the arcane shift, and that's potentially a point where the final tribe can punish him if Azator is not careful enough with the Ezreal.
Absolutely. Wazer was able to get bot lane turrets. That is a little bit more gold that TFT was able to pick up. They got the first turret for them.
Yeah.
But Nyyrikki has picked up 4 turrets so far, so there's a lot of gold in the Finnish pocket.
A 6k gold lead right now. A lot of that is on Yamari. Here you can see with an 850 gold shutdown potentially should this game go later on, and the siege to the mid lane is going to be... Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Those arcane shifts are scary.
Here comes the True Shot Barrage. Not going to hit anything, though. Turret about to fall. One more auto attack will do the trick. Azator picks that one up. That's the 5th turret. And this is just Nyyrikki breaking open this map and cracking every single turret that they can find wide open. This jungle is soon to be the Nyyrikki jungle, and this will mean for TFT that they're going to fall even further behind, especially Raxi, who's not able to really find any farm for him, still falling behind in level and EX and gold.
So when it comes to setting up for the Baron, getting all of the enemy outer towers on the top side of the map is so good for you. because that allows you to push up the waves really far. And once you've been pushing up the waves in the top and mid lane really far, that gives you a lot of time to go into the enemy jungle, sweep out all the wards on the top side of the map, while the enemy team has to deal with the pushing waves. So being able to get these towers just gives you so much tempo and makes it so much easier to clear out the vision and set up for the Baron. They don't have the strongest Baron taking team, but with a Mountain Dragon, TFT are still going to have to be careful here around this. You can never forget Jarvan's flag, how much extra damage on the Baron that gives in these grouped up situations.
Yeah, absolutely. Jemero now looking for a pick. It's going to force the Valkyrie and see how much Kantos needs to run away from that. He's so worried about the Glacial Augment. Crucial Barrage not going to be able to stop that recall, otherwise would probably have been a kill, or at least forcing a flash. But Baron's still open. A good pick up from the Rift Scotland is that at least TFT have vision around the Baron area. But they still need to be so careful. And Stenbusse is so far ahead in this matchup as well versus Wazer. Has been able to buy so much magic resist. He's stacking up the lethality, so it's also a difficult situation for Wazer how he's going to handle this.
Yeah, he really wants to look for the group sort of plays here. With someone that's available in Nightmares is caught out of position here.
Yeah, Nightmares trying to find some ward placements and not going to be able to. He got that CS at least, so that's a little extra goal that he got before going down. But yeah, trying to ward this area, this is exactly why it's so difficult once those tier 2 turrets fall. You're not going to be able to venture into your own jungle without getting completely collapsed on, and this is exactly what happened Nightmares.
Yeah, that's going to be really scary for them. Really need to move together as a team when they're trying to pull off those sort of plays. You can see they're just looking to push out the waves and then sweep the enemy vision in the top half of the jungle. Nightmare was still able to get some good vision down there before he went down though, so right now the final tribe don't have to be that scared about the Baron. The thing for Nyyrikki though is they don't have to take any big risks. They are going to be starting a 2-man of this Baron, and Yamaru is so scary here.
I don't think it has been spotted. I want to see this if they have been spotted on
so.
That ward. They can't see sometimes the animation, so I think they might be knowing that they know it's happening.
Yamaru.
They have spotted it, but here comes Jemero with the Charman, the True Shot Barrage. It's going to finish the job. This is just a team that is so far ahead that TFT can't find anything that they can do to stop them. Meanwhile, that happens. Stenbusse is pushing it up, and here comes the team fight. Not going to be able to stop Raxius Ragnaroking away from there, but that is a lot of damage on the turret and a pickup on Nightmares yet again.
They're going to go back to the Baron and start that up once more because they were able to get several members pretty low and burning some very crucial team fight ultimates, the Ragnarok and the Slicing Maelstrom from the cannon. Rex is going to be looking for a flash smite steal here if he's got enough vision. Candace is going to go in with him as well. This Baron is getting low.
Yeah, but Baron take not the strongest, you said it earlier. The Baron actually taking so long to kill that, as the teleport actually, no, the flash I mean, actually will be enough. And Kantos getting the shutdown on Jemero, now turning around on this Baron, and this is what we were worried about earlier, saying that Nyyrikki White definitely have the stronger early game, but they don't have the best Baron take. So after that fight, turning back onto the Baron again, everyone were so low that Kantos actually and themselves simply just walk up to people, auto attack and ulti away, and getting a few of those very important kills and the shutdown gold on Kantos.
Yeah, that is so huge for them, and I mentioned that as one of the only possibilities for him to start a comeback in this game if Nyyrikki messes up around the Baron. And you mentioned the shutdown for Kantos onto Yamaru. There was 900 gold going over to that Corki, and 8 Magi Soul Stealer stacks getting lost from that Ahri. And getting it on the Corki is precisely the person that you want him on. Still behind on the Corki, but starting to scale up and do some real damage right now with the items that it's been able to pick up. So the final tribe, they just went from being really far behind to having a fighting chance in this game.
Yeah, they still have a fighting chance, but they're still pretty far behind though. Although not as much as they were before that fight started, so definitely much better position. Now having the extra gold on Kantos, unlocking the rapid fire cannon for him before the Infinite Edge, wanting to have the extra advantage of the range on the Corki. But still, Nyyrikki, they knew that they were going a little bit too deep with the Baron. You could tell from the way they were playing around it that they all were hesitating quite a bit. Are we going to go for it? Are we going to finish it? And they can still take these fights, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think a play that you can make right now is to start up the Baron and then just look for the picks with Yamaru, because you saw what happened when Nightmares was face-checking into that. He got one shot by this Ahri together with a two-shot barrage. So Canopil and Ace are just going to be starting it. You can see how much damage they do with the Mountain Dragon as well as the Jarvan Flag giving you extra attack speed. Raxi is around though, still has the flash, but this Baron is dying pretty quickly. And it's so scary to face check this because you know Yamaru is so big on this Ahri, even though he got shut down recently. But they're gonna be peeling off the Baron, so not sure about these calls from Nyyrikki.
A good ward coverage around the Baron from Nightmares means that Nyyrikki are worried that the same thing will happen again that happened last time they tried. So Nightmares being very aggressive with his movement around, is taking a lot of risks. It hasn't always been paying off, as he has been caught out twice while moving a little bit too deep into enemy territory, but this time around it actually paying off. And I agree with you that I would much rather see Nyyrikki White now start up the Baron and set it up for a quick turnaround and the team fight instead, as I think that would be the key for them right now to take the Baron and potentially take the game.
Something that they've been gaining from this, though, is they've been forcing 4 people from the final tribe to be on the top side. And in the 1v1 in the bot lane between Stenbosse and Waysor, Stenbosse is now more than 70, actually 75 CS up on this Jace. In that straight 1v1, when you know 4 people from the enemy team has to be on the top side, he's been doing so well, and it's very easy for him to itemize here as well. Hexdrinker, Merc Threads, QSS. He's just stacking the magic resistance because that's all the damage coming from TFT with his Corki in the bottom lane that I'm really not too sure about. So Stenbosse getting such a huge lead in the 1v1 with Waysor. 2 levels up. This is something that you rarely see in the top lane matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stenbosse is not even touching these team fights with pliers. He wouldn't even get close to them. Instead, just sticking around bot lane and fighting it out versus Waysor, which makes it, like you said, so much easier for him to itemize. Just gonna build a lot of magic resist, make sure that he just stays slightly ahead when it comes to battle stats, and is gonna be able to push this forever. Also, having that little extra life steal means that he has the sustain that he needs to stick around this bot lane. He just keeps pushing.
Yeah, and he's been doing a little bit of tower damage there, but the big thing is just pushing in Waysor there, who is a stronger team fighter on this AP cannon compared to the Jace. Not sure if Nyyrikki just want to be sitting around. They might be looking for this, which have not been working out too well for them, and they are spotted out once more on the ward that you mentioned. That is such a strong ward outside of the Baron pit, so the final tribe knows exactly what is going on. But as we were mentioning, this gives Stenbosse the freedom in the bottom state because he knows he's 1v1 with Waysor.
Absolutely, and Jamero also looking for the picks. If he can find one, that would be the starting for a team fight, but not really going for it still. Holds on, waiting for his twin shadows. Jamero also lost quite a lot of battle stats when dying earlier, losing 8 stacks on the Soul Stealer, so that is also something that he really needs to be thinking of. That he wasted a lot of gold going for that. In the mid lane, turret has gone down.
Yeah, bottom lane though, Stenbosse took the inhib tower.
Yeah, Stenbosse was able. Now he's going to get collapsed on the rest of his team, instantly moving towards the Baron. But I think they might be a little bit too slow for this. Stenbosse has died, and instantly also we see TFT setting up around the mid lane and making sure that no Baron take can be allowed.
There is a little bit of sloppiness here for Nyyrikki because, as I've been mentioning, Stenbosse can just freely push in the bottom lane as long as they have pressure on the Baron with the rest of the team. And that did not happen there, so as soon as they were starting to run down mid lane, the final tribe really, I mean, that's really smart. They realized that, okay, this is a timing window where we can try to punish Stenbosse in the bottom side, and they did just that when the team of Nyyrikki did not have pressure on the Baron. So a bit of a slip up there for Nyyrikki, and good play from TFT. That was decisive.
Yeah, absolutely. TFT showing that they're still in this game, that they still can find these picks that they want. Although they did lose the bot lane turret, which is going to make it even more difficult now for Waysor to handle this matchup. Stenbosse now with his Mercurial Scimitar. He's going to have the extra mobility, he's going to have the extra life steal, he has the Quicksilver Sash activated ability. So there is a lot of things that he can do in this matchup versus Waysor. He's also 2 levels up, level 17 to level 15. And Waster, like you said, he wants to have the team fights. He doesn't really want to be in this 1-versus-1 situation where his cannon isn't as efficient. And Stenbossen, realizing this, just going to keep pushing him. He's going to make sure that he's forced to stay in a side lane as far away from these team fights as physically possible.
Yeah, and he's going for the bottom lane just once more. With the TP still available, he's going to be pressuring that inhib tower. Nyyrikki, you just need to be doing what you were doing before. Keep pressure on the Baron so Stenbossen can push in a 1-versus-1 so that he knows it's a 1v1. And if anyone else from TFT goes down to try to help Waysor in that 1v1, you need to go for the Baron immediately. So really hoping that they can have the team coordination to do just that. They have been doing a good job at clearing out the vision, so there's no vision on the Baron right now, and there is no blue trinket available for Nyyrikki, so they don't have vision on the Baron.
Aster has gone for the Hextech Gunblade this game, and I think it's just to have the extra sustain actually for taking the Baron, as he has lost quite a bit of HP the times they've been trying to do it, so I'm not quite sure. I don't see the Hextech Gunblade that often on the Astral. Usually we would see the Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more burst damage compared to the Blade of the Ruin King, and also Blade is better against tanks generally, which we're not seeing a lot of on the final try, but this is a different strategy from Nyyrikki. They're going to be pressuring bottom lane inhib and mid lane tower at the same time. Stenbossen just straight up winning the 1v1 in that bottom lane. And ooh, a package goes in.
Yeah, package goes in. Kantos taking a lot of damage in that fight, though. True Shot Barrage not going to hit him, so he gets away. That's again Stenbossen sacrificing his life for an objective, but he got it. That's the inhibitor he's been trying to get for the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, still good for them to get the inhib because that's going to be giving you a lot of pressure on towards the Baron, but that did not need to happen. The rest of the team was not coordinated with their top laner whatsoever. They did not have pressure on another objective when TFT was going for the bottom side play, so still fine for them. They get Cloud Dragon, they get bottom lane inhib, but they didn't have to lose Stenbossen's life for that.
No, I think that it's slight mistakes. They get what they want, but they always have to pay a price for it. For these fights, I think the price is right, so to speak.
Starting Baron.
But yeah, Baron has been started. Not the best Baron take on this team either, as Corki's damage isn't more burst and not as much sustain, but still Baron goes down fairly quickly without any vision around this. This needs to become a fight now. True Shot Barrage from Azitor is ready. He's going to hit almost everyone with this. Everyone alone now, but Baron also going down, and Smite is going to be, but Azitor kills Kantos before the fight even starts. And look at this huge cleanup. They managed to steal it as well. The only survivor is Denzel, who gets out, and I think they can actually finish the game on top of this.
Oh, Denzel, he's trying to make some sort of a big play here, but this is
gonna be the game. Even leaving the game. That's the surrender vote, I believe. Realizing that that was their final attempt. TFT now dropping out of the game. These are the minions moving in, and that is it. It is finished. TFT, the Swedish team, is out, and the Finnish team is in the finals.
Hyve Suomi! Nyyrikki goes on to the final. They really make their country proud there, especially through the solo laners that I want to highlight once more. Yamaru and Stenbossen coming up really big that game.
Yeah, absolutely doing everything right. Rather, I would say that doing 80% right. We saw Stenbossen get caught out of some situations where we kind of felt like he probably could have at least gotten more on top of that death, but in the end, they got everything they needed. Like, you don't need to be greedy, you don't need to get more. It's enough to simply, let's say, win the game and get to the finals.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at these two teams, I thought they were going to be pretty close coming into this, but when we're looking at these games, I think Nyyrikki are so deserving of going to this finals. Better top laner, better mid laner, better bot lane, better drafts. They were just impressive me.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the way that they itemized and the way that they strategically played around the strong points of TFT and just focusing on their own strengths and focusing on their winning lanes. Something that TFT just couldn't keep up with.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see them clash off with Ventus in the final. We're gonna be seeing Stenbossen versus Sleeping. We're gonna be seeing Yamaru versus Chris Cornet.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're gonna see some of the absolute individually best players in these solo lanes facing off against each other. With this, Ventus Esports versus Nyyrikki White is what we will be looking forward to seeing next week, the 10th of March.
So as a Swede, I'm a bit sad when I'm looking at this bracket, but if I'm just taking an honest approach to this, okay, I'm not going to say probably,
these are definitely
the
the
two
best teams.
deserving finalists. These are the two best teams that have been playing in this tournament, and they're definitely deserving of going to this finals. It's going to be a best out of 5. It's still going to be a 9.3, so it's going to be the same patch, and these teams really going to be scouting out each other for the next week.
Yeah, absolutely. They have seen each other play a lot. They played against each other. Ventus Esports, on paper, are looking like the stronger team, but Nyyrikki White have also been able to advance and been able to get so much better during this group stage, during this semi-final. At this point, looking at them at the top of their game, I can definitely see them give Ventus Esports a run for their money.
Yeah, definitely. I think that they've been really improving throughout the tournament, and I think some of their strengths matches up pretty well against the weaknesses of Ventus. They've got probably the better top laner, they got at least an even mid laner, and I can't wait to see what drafts they can be cooking up, because I think they've been having some solid drafts throughout this tournament, even better than Ventus's.
Yeah, absolutely. Ventus, one of their weak points has been their drafts, and I think they have become much better in that area, but how much can they actually make happen just with 1 week to prepare?
It's going to be very interesting. They're going to be focusing on this a lot for sure, and I can't wait to see them face off. Also got to mention some final words for TFT and Östersund. I think they both played well and they made Sweden proud, but in the end, I think it was the individual skill that just did not quite match up to these two best teams.
No, I mean, I think, like we say, it's definitely fair. These two teams that went to the final were the better teams, but it was so even. We got to remember also that the final tribe, that placeholder 1, 2, 3, Nyyrikki White, Östersund's FK, and Nordic, all of them were in the top spot, all fighting to get into the semifinals, and then they got into it, and it was so close between them, and then finally 2 teams emerge to get all the way to the final. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that.
Can't really ask for more than that, except to see them clash off in the finals.
Exactly. We will do that next week. We will be back with a bigger studio, with bigger games, with more even best of 5. Do not miss that. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.